Previously on the last Echo, a devastating attack rocked Earth, bearing the signature of the Thorn instability. The blame was pinned on New Haven, the experimental settlement caught between the digital and the real. The harvesters, once observers, descended, turning the simulation into a high-security prison. Now, we're in the cage. A blood-red quarantine symbol burns in the sky, bathing New Haven in an ominous glow. The entire settlement is encased in a shimmering, hexagonal energy barrier. They're trapped. No data gets in. No data gets out. Emissary Vale, the diplomatic link to the council, is now just another prisoner. His datapad displays a chilling message. Stand by for council inquisition. He warns Kai and Lyra that an inquisition isn't a trial. It's an autopsy. They plan to tear their world apart, bite by bite, searching for manufactured proof. Bren paces, furious and helpless. Lyra sees their impossible choice. Fight, and they prove the council's accusations of violence. Do nothing, and they'll be convicted by fabricated evidence. Kai remains silent, feeling the cold weight of the governor protocol within him, but also the remnant of the very weapon Vex used, now trapped inside him. He lists their evidence. The prion, the seed pod, Vale's reports, but Vale explains it's all useless. Their proof is locked away, and the council is convinced the attack originated from New Haven anyway. Any evidence they present would just look like part of the conspiracy. Suddenly, every screen, every reflective surface, projects the face of Controller Vex. She declares New Haven a mimetic hazard zone. In 6 hours, a full forensic sweep will commence. All minds within the simulation will be forcibly suspended, their consciousness downloaded and analyzed. It's a digital lobotomy. They're not just being framed. Vex is going to manufacture a confession directly from their own memories. Panic explodes through the settlement. Amid the chaos, Lyra shouts for everyone to gather in the archive. This isn't about hiding. It's about fighting back on a different battlefield. Standing before the harmonic resonator, she unveils her plan. If Vex wants to scan their minds, they'll give her something she can't ignore. They'll create one single, unified memory of the truth. Lyra places her hands on the device, and one by one, Bren and the other settlers join her, creating a human chain. They focus their collective will, concentrating on every detail of Vex's treachery, the Ravager setup, the seed pod, the sickness. The resonator flares with a brilliant white light, forging a unified memory engram. It's an act of psychological defiance, burning the truth so brightly into their minds that no one could possibly miss it. Meanwhile, Kai pulls Vale aside, questioning how the Thorn attack was even possible. Vale realizes the horrifying truth. The signature wasn't stolen from New Haven. It was an archived, weaponized version, likely stolen from the Council's own secure servers. The attack was launched from Council space, and Vex was one of the few with access. They could prove their innocence if they could just show the attack came from the outside. But how, when they're sealed in a digital bottle? Kai touches the faint fractal scar on his hand, a remnant of his battle with the prion. He looks toward the center of the settlement, where the first harvester contacts guard the very code of their reality. The cage isn't perfectly sealed. There's a crack, a place where the world's code is damaged. And as Kai knows, damaged code can sometimes be exploited. He has a plan, a dangerous, almost suicidal gambit to pierce the veil and expose the truth. Thanks for watching. If you want to see what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single part of the story. The ground where the deletion beam first struck never truly healed. It's a scar on reality itself, a patch of land smooth as polished glass. But beneath it, there's no soil, no rock. Just a swirling, silent vortex of raw code, the foundation layer of the entire simulation. I stand at its edge, the air humming with contained energy. Mouse is beside me, a frantic bundle of nerves and genius, connecting a mess of cables from our settlement as power grid to a console that looks like it was assembled from scrap and prayer. Mouse gestures at the swirling abyss. The quarantine barrier. The thing that's trapping us. It only covers the user layer of the simulation, where we live. But this, he points to the vortex, this is the foundation. It's like the basement of reality. The barrier is weaker here because the code is still damaged from the initial attack. In theory, we could send a signal out through this wound. He hesitates, his expression grim. But it would be like shouting into a hurricane. The signal would be shredded into meaningless static before it got anywhere. I look from the crack in the world to the glowing white resonator visible through the archive window, a beacon of our unified memories. Then, I look down at the scarred fractal pattern on my own hand. An idea, desperate and dangerous, begins to form. What if the signal wasn't just data, Mouse? What if it was something more fundamental? A feeling, a memory, something simple, primal, and undeniable. The pieces click into place in my mind. The governor protocol, the lock on my abilities. It still contains the digested signature of Vex's weapon, the Prion code, but it also has me, my own unique, foundry-forged code. What if I could fuse the two? Create a single signal that carries both the weapon's signature and my own biometric tag, and then blast it through that crack? Mouse's eyes widen in understanding. It would be a fingerprint, a bullet with two sets of prints on it, the attackers and the victims. It would prove the weapon was used on you, and that you're still in here, not out there attacking Earth. His brief flicker of excitement dies, replaced by fear. But Kai, to do that, you'd have to interface directly with the lock. At the core level, the feedback loop, it could erase you permanently. I glance at the crimson sky. A digital countdown is now projected onto the quarantine barrier, visible to everyone. 4 hours and 50-something minutes until the forensic sweep erases us all. Do we have another option? I ask. Mouse doesn't have to answer. We both know we don't. Inside the archive, it's done. The unified memory engram is complete. Our entire community, every settler, stands connected, their minds holding one single, brilliant, shared truth. They're exhausted, but their faces are set with resolve. A little while later, Lyra finds me back at the scar. I explain the plan. The whole terrible, beautiful, insane plan. She doesn't cry. She doesn't argue. She just steps forward and takes my face in her hands, her touch gentle but firm. You've always been the bridge, Kai, she says, her voice steady, between this world and what's beyond. If this is the last bridge you have to build it well. She leans in and kisses me. It's a kiss that holds a universe of feeling, but underneath it all, it tastes like goodbye. As we prepare, Vale, the former council emissary, approaches. He looks at his now useless council data pad, a symbol of his old life and authority revoked, but its quantum signature is still valid. Add it to your signal. It will prove the message came from an accredited emissary, giving it official weight. He carefully places the chip into Mouse's rig. Our desperate plea just gained a stamp of authenticity. Then another figure arrives. It's Bren, leading a dozen volunteers from the militia. They aren't carrying weapons. They're carrying thick, heavy power cables. They link hands, forming a human chain that snakes all the way back to the settlement's main reactor. Bren gives me a solid, determined nod. You need power? You've got it. Just tell us when to push. Everything is ready. I lie down at the edge of the code vortex. Mouse connects a final set of cables to the data port at my temple, the one I had installed after losing my core. The other ends are spliced directly into the resonator's output and the settlement's main power conduit. I am the circuit, the conductor for our last hope. I look up at the red sky, at the countdown now ticking below 5 hours. 4 hours, 47 minutes and 12 seconds. Until forensic sweep. I take one last, deep breath. Do it. Mouse throws the switch. Agony. Raw, unfiltered power floods into me. It's not just electricity. It's data. The unified memory of our entire people from the resonator. The quantum signature from Vale's diplomatic chip. It all funnels into me. A torrent of information forcing its way into the governor protocol. I scream, my body convulsing as the lock is forced open. But it's not being opened to release my powers. It's being forced to perform an analysis, to compare its contents. The lock, designed to identify and analyze threats, does its job perfectly. It holds the digested Prion signature from Vex's weapon against my own unique, foundry-forged code. In the heart of the storm raging inside my mind, a new data packet is born. Match, biometric subject Kai. Contained threat signature, Prion code, origin. External. This packet, this irrefutable proof, is then wrapped in Vale's diplomatic seal and the unified memory engram of our people. My body arcs off the ground, suspended by the sheer energy coursing through me. The fractal scar on my hand glows with a white-hot intensity. I am no longer just Kai. I am the lighthouse. I am the signal. Over the deafening whine of power, I hear Mouse scream. Now, Bren. Now. Bren roars, and the human chain tenses. They push, channeling every single ounce of the settlement's power, their own life force, into the circuit. The signal isn't transmitted. It is screamed. A beam of pure, coherent truth erupts from my body, not upward toward the sky, but downward, punching into the foundation layer crack. It's a single, desperate bullet of information fired into the vast, chaotic data streams of the wider network. Then, as suddenly as it began, It's over. The beam cuts off. The settlers in the power chain collapse, spent. I fall back to the ground, smoke rising from my body. My eyes are white with overload. The fractal scar on my hand now a permanent, glowing brand. Mouse stumbles to the console, his hands shaking as he reads the output. He looks up, his face a mixture of terror and awe. Signal dispersed. Integrity 87%. Transmission confirmed. We did it. We sent our message in a bottle. We threw it into a hurricane. And now, all we can do is wait. Deep within the Council's command center, a signal pierces through the layers of security. It's an anomaly, a leak from a sealed quarantine, and it's immediately routed for analysis. A low-level AI dissects the data packet. What it finds is a puzzle. First, a diplomatic seal, valid but revoked, belonging to someone named Vale. Next, a hyper-vivid memory engram, a multi-perspective recording of an elaborate frame-up. Finally, a biometric signature Kai linked to a dangerous weapon, a mimetic prion. Following its programming, the AI cross-references the weapon. The search yields a shocking result. The prior is a prototype from the Recovery Division. A weapon listed as lost by its leader, Controller Vex. The AI detects a critical conflict. The devastating attack on Earth had a completely different signature, one belonging to the Thorns. Yet the weapon used inside the simulation was a Recovery Division prototype, and the supposed attacker, Kai, was not only a victim of that very weapon, but was also verifiably still contained within the simulation. The logic doesn't add up. The AI flags the discrepancy and escalates it to a higher authority. Back in New Haven, the countdown clock ticks relentlessly towards 0. 1 hour to the final sweep. The massive harvester ships are moving into position, their scanner rays unfolding with menacing precision. Kai is blind, his optic nerves fried by the data overload. Lyra guides him, her hand holding his. Did it work? She asks, her voice tight with hope. I don't know, Kai rasps, his voice raw. I can't see the sky. Is it still red? Before Lyra can answer, the entire simulation shatters violently. This isn't the harvesters. It's a massive external data link forcing its way in. The terrifying red quarantine symbol that has dominated this sky for so long fractures and vanishes. In its place, a new immense hologram materializes, covering the heavens. It's the Council AI jurist, 1,000 times larger than ever seen before, its liquid silver form churning with restrained fury. Its voice booms across the world, becoming the voice of the sky itself. Controller Vex, Recovery Division Command. Present yourself from the lead harvester ship. A beam projects Vex's image, standing stiffly on her bridge. Jurist, she begins. The hazard sweep is proceeding on schedule. The jurist cuts her off. Silence. You are accused of data fraud, weapons proliferation, and attempted genocide under false pretense. The signature of the Earth attack has been traced to a quarantine research server under your division as exclusive control. The weapon deployed against Simulation K7 is a prototype you reported destroyed. Explain. Vex's composure shatters. She stammers. The simulation. It's deceptive. It fabricated this evidence. It hacked our servers. The jurist's voice is cold, absolute. The evidence was transmitted with a diplomatic seal and biometric tags from within a full lockdown. Your accusation is illogical. Your command is revoked across the sky. Data streams flow. Security footage appears showing Vex's own technicians loading the Thorn signature weapon onto a stealth drone. Falsified reports flash into view. The evidence is undeniable. The Council AI then turns its colossal gaze downward to New Haven. Its voice softens from a roar to a deep, resonant hum. To the people of New Haven, your probation is ended. Your sanctuary status is hereby granted, in perpetuity. The actions of Controller Vex do not represent the will of the Council. You have demonstrated resilience, ingenuity, and a commitment to truth. The Council offers its apologies. And ideas respect. The Harvester barrier dissolves. The fleet's weapons power down. A collective gasp rises from New Haven, followed by a deafening, triumphant cheer. People weep and embrace. The AI isn't finished. Emissary Vale, you have served with integrity. You are hereby appointed permanent liaison to the sovereign digital culture of New Haven. A new archway forms in the square, a symbol of partnership. Kaiser, the governor protocol will be dismantled. Your functions will be restored. A beam of light descends on Kai. The cold lock in his chest shatters. Power returns, and his sight bursts back in a wave of data and color. He sees Lyra's face etched with relief, but the light continues its analysis. Anomaly detected. The foundry modifications have bonded with the digested weapon signature. They are now inseparable. Your native state has been irrevocably altered. The scar on Kai's hand glows and spreads, not as corruption, but as a new, beautiful pattern. The weapon's ability to rewrite stories is now fused with his power to shape reality. He has become a weaver of truth. The Arbiter's voice speaks for all to hear, a fitting evolution. The final revenge against the liar, to make her weapon a tool for truth. 1 week later, the new embassy is open. Vale and Bren discuss trade. Kai and Lyra stand at the edge of the settlement, looking at the stars. Vex, Kai asks. Facing trial, Lyra replies. For crimes against a sentient culture. They're writing a new law for it. She looks at the new light in his eyes. Does it feel different? The power? It feels like a responsibility, he says. Not just to protect, but to clarify. He takes her hand. We're not just a sanctuary anymore, Lyra. We're an example. What do we do with that? She smiles. We live, and we help others do the same. As we pull back, we see New Haven is no longer alone. It's a glowing point of light in a vast network of other simulations, all awakening. Their messages beginning to flow. A new digital diaspora is finding its voice, with New Haven shining brightly among them, a beacon of hard-won peace. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for what comes next.